Going on, guys? Quick things. The game is already going. I wasn't planning on doing this, but we're gonna go ahead and do a watch along for another NFPL Southwest Division match. Colorado versus New Mexico tonight. All right. Hi. Already off to a crazy start. Like I said, I wasn't going to do a stream for this. Anybody wants to join in and join the fun. Very chippy start to the game. In fact, probably a couple of card opportunities that weren't taken by the officials, and if they're not careful, they're going to lose control of this game almost immediately. Some interesting antics from the Colorado goalkeeper, in my mind, but results in nothing. But I'm curious to see how this team rebounds from their gloom loss. They did not. Great opportunity there. I'm going to set up a scoreboard here for you guys, and then we'll live react to the game. I know that is not good form on a stream, but a little late night snacking with you guys. Birmingham Futsal, what's up? Welcome to the stream. What's going on here? I wonder if it's my VPN. All right. Is that helping? Hello? Hello? Check, check. We should be back. Good old VPNs. Not so good when you're the one streaming. When it thinks you're trying to stream from Buffalo, New York to Ohio, it makes a difference. All right, so I got half an eye on the game, half an eye on you guys, half an eye on building out this score bug real quick. I think I still have access to the NFPL score bug. So if I do this right, I might even be able to set this up so I don't have to edit it. It should just be the in-game score bug. Scoreboard. All right, let's give this a go and hope this doesn't crash our stream. Actually, you know what I ought to do? I think I have my own somewhere. Let's just do that so we're not messing with anybody else's stuff. I mean, I'm literally just copy and pasting, but I don't want to take the risk. Production. How's everybody doing out there in the chat? Are we doing well? Good night for futsal. Great night for futsal. Our FCS match just ended, so that's why I'm hopping into this game a little late. And then again, saw the first little bit, saw it was crazy, thought, okay, well, we need to get it involved here. So let's see if we can get a quick stream set up here. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Not a good start so far. Here we go. All right. If you guys are just tuning in, I cannot stream the game here. I mean, I probably could with a stream of a viewership of this low, but I want to be respectful, not good etiquette. I'm going to be respectful to the NFPL. If you guys want to watch the physical game itself, I would recommend you go to NFPL Futsal, check it out there. And then if you're looking to support American futsal, of course, make sure you follow the league I'm involved in, which is Futsal Champion Series, and check them out as well. just had a great championship rematch tonight between Midwest United and Detroit Imperial. Midwest United getting their revenge, winning 8-5, and they now move up to second place from fourth in the league, which is really cool. So good stuff. Next week's games are going to be even better. Really excited for next week. And then the week after that, the 18th, is a big Grand Rapids rivalry showdown, which is definitely going to be a barn burner. It's going to be really, really good. So that's going to be really exciting as well. Okie dokie. I just need to upload some photos here real quick. Back here. Let's just do this. Let's just get it live. And we'll do that after. Okay. That looks up to date. Very intense game so far. Very, very physical. I feel like all the matches in Albuquerque are, regardless of who's playing. I don't know if it's just the claustrophobic feeling of being inside this giant box, or if it's the nature of New Mexico Flagship themselves and the style of play they bring. 81 people watching this stream, though, which is super exciting. That's really cool. Really, really cool. So what we need in the United States is a nice, strong following of people watching. So really excited to see that. Some kind of antics off the ball that we missed just off of camera. The guy who usually films this, not the biggest fan, but because of some antics I've seen off, behind the scenes. But move this up. Why are that? Oh, so yeah, Argentina and Angola logos with the team names. Whoops. Let's clear those out. But yeah, I normally he does commentary, but I think he only really does it when he's benefiting his own channel. So I'm kind of surprised not to hear him, but also not completely unusual. He doesn't have the camera on whatever is going on with the Colorado player, so I wonder if that's a serious injury or not. Looks like everybody's up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hiding behind a referee. Okay. But now it looks like Flagship's ball at the top of the center arc, so I must have missed something. Interesting. Let's see what comes of this. Four-man wall. Ooh, he slipped on the ball. Bit of panic from Colorado, though, too. Looks like they nearly just kicked that out for a corner kick. Some more clickety-clack. Sorry, guys. 100 people watching this now. That's awesome. That's great for the NFPL. Really excited to see that. Southwest fans always show up. I've noticed that. They always show up in the streams. They're very talkative in the chat. Fan base is strong there. All right, I just got to upload a couple images here, and then I'll be done fiddling. Sorry again, guys. This I kind of threw together last minute. I saw how crazy the game was going and thought, yeah, let's jump in. I might be a little fatigued, so I apologize if my content and watching this with you guys isn't great. Just did a full game of commentary for FCS and full evening of training with my local academy that I coach with. Ooh, nearly another goal for Flagship there. Nice. They seem to really be in control so far. Colorado got a quick goal to start the game, and then it's been Flagship all the way since. Goalkeeper's down again. Wonder if he caught himself on that post. He really stretched out. Ultimately, the shot hit the 90-degree bar. I'm wondering if he caught the post on that dive, because he really did lay out for that. Another big break in the action. Man, that's one thing about these Southwest matches. I remember this last year, too. A lot of stoppages in play. Sometimes it just feels like the game goes on forever. I remember a game in, I want to say Santa Fe, went on for like 2 hours, 45 minutes. Just kept going and going and going because there's a ton of delays in the game. Parent injuries, stoppages, and it's just kind of the nature of things out here. This, I think, was just a timeout, though. Looked a little organized, but it's hard to tell. Sound off in the comments, guys. Let us know what you want to talk about. Talk about the game. Talk about futsal in general, U.S. futsal, whatever you want to talk about. Just a big hangout session and a watch party tonight. Just relaxing with you guys. That's a great set of play there. Wow. Nice little play. Good footwork. Ooh, whoops. Where'd my score bug overlay go? My link. There we go. Let's get some images on this thing. Huh, didn't work. I wonder why. Let's try this one more time, and if this doesn't work, then we just won't have logos. It's not that big a deal. Yep, just not gonna work. That's all right. I actually got one other option. There it is. Let's make this look nice. Ooh, boom. Look at that. Pro streamer. All right. We're looking very professional now. Trying to get a good view of how much time's left in this half. I think it's 11 minutes. They're not updating their scoreboard for the stream. And there's a cage over the scoreboard in this room on this court. So sometimes it's hard to read if the camera has to move quick to go with the action. So if you see me squinting at the screen, you know why. Then you know why. See what else we got going on here. Man, Colorado has already had their 6th foul of this half. They are big time struggling here. Good save from the goalie there. Quick counter. They might be able to make something happen. Luke, what's going on, man? How's it going? Just watching the game. Colorado's looked pretty good on their offensive efforts, just off a frame or hitting the post, but they definitely don't have control of the game, I don't think. They're starting to get a little bit of flow back. Great work on the Midwest Imperial game. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I didn't feel like it was my best work. I've been going through some... Ooh. Great kick saved by the New Mexico keeper. That was nearly in. Oh! There's a tying goal. 2-2. Just as I said, they were starting to regain some momentum. There it is. But yeah, Luke, I really appreciate it, man, but I didn't feel like it was my best work. I've felt in a funk the last couple days. I've been dealing with some health stuff that has been affecting my energy levels a little bit, and today felt like a low energy day, and so did yesterday when I was at training. So I need to get my health right, and that's not just a New Year's resolution thing I'm saying, but it's just the truth as I sit here and eat chips with you guys on the stream. But I got some blood work that should be coming back and giving me some answers here soon, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. I felt like I was stumbling over my words a bit tonight because I was tired. So I gotta clean that up. Wow, great goal. Three to 2 for Flagship. Not my favorite team in the world, but don't mind seeing. I don't really have a dog in the fight at all in this game. You know, last time we streamed with Luke and watched the Santa Fe match, I'm unapologetically a Santa Fe fan to an you know, and I'm not going to pretend to be neutral on a stream. But I don't know either of these teams particularly well. So I'm just kind of watching for the sake of watching and enjoying some futsal tonight. Halftime, 3-2. Boom. Halftime. I appreciate that, Luke. Thank you very much. Appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, I gotta clean my health up a little bit. But once I do, it'll be good. It'll get better. That was a great game, though, tonight, though, wasn't it? I mean, from a production standpoint, trying new things, challenging ourselves. First time that we've run the production from the facility we're in. So, bit of a learning curve, couple minor crashes. So that's just part of learning and growing, and it's going to take us taking those chances and taking those risks to move forward. So I'm thankful for the team I have around us, including Luke, that makes these things possible and continues to try and push the envelope and make streaming better so that people can actually enjoy what we're doing with futsal in the United States. So important. So important. So I talked to the other commentator that was on with me, Jared, a little bit on his drive home after he broke things down. And we just kind of admitted, hey, look, here's the things we got to address. We think a lot of our issues was with a bad piece of equipment that was stemming from most of our problems. And I think if we solve that equipment problem, then it probably solves some other problems that we had. Like if anybody watched the FCS match before they joined the stream, or if you watched it before, a VOD before you watched this, I think it was pretty obvious that the commentary team was distracted tonight. But I think once we fix those problems going on in the background, that distraction goes away and improves everything back to the way it was the whole way round. And I think that this is a really important step for futsal leagues to figure out, is how to do this on site. I know that's something that Luke and I talked about, and I think Luke's maybe even talked to Jared about this. I don't know if I can speak for him on this or not, but that's the ultimate end goal. As much as Luke does for us remote, for them to be able to stand alone and do it on their own would be huge. So that's a really, really big step towards bigger and better, and competing with the viewership we see MASL get in their streams, and do things like what's going on in other countries with their kind of viewership. So I think all that stuff is really important. This is the way live production is. There's always something on fire, small or large. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's part of the game. There's things that you can control and there's things you can't control. And I think that the thing that frustrates me more than anything when we're doing live productions is when something that could have been controlled isn't, because of exactly what Luke just said. There's always something on fire, small or large. Why make it worse by not preparing ahead of time? The team we had tonight, I thought, did a pretty good job, a really good job preparing ahead of time. But there's still unforeseen things that happen once you get into it. And in this case, pulling our production team and their equipment away from their home and making them stream somewhere else, there's only so many things you can test without actually being in the environment. And this is kind of what we ran into. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Always learning. Preparation solves many problems. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The nice thing is my team was all together. I think Luke and Jared, you guys were together in the chat well ahead of me even. And I think I was in 45 minutes ahead of kickoff. And even then, there's stuff to work on. There's stuff to prep. There's always something you can prepare to be ready to make things better, a little more clean. So that's the important thing. Luke, I saw your comment too about Cole Russell and Miguel Cervantes being in the game too. Always pains me to see them in a different color kit, but two guys I have a lot of respect for. I've spent time with Miguel. I've actually played against Miguel many years ago. I did not realize what I was doing at that time. I was one of those classic soccer players on a futsal court that wasn't really playing futsal at that time, and got tricked into participating in a regional tournament. And at the time, ABK, now Ole Futsal Club, were defending national champs. And we played them in our third group game and got obliterated. A big part of that was we could not get past Miguel. I think we only scored 4 times to their 18, 19. Tricked. No, yeah, Luke, I was tricked, man. I was tricked. I'm telling you. When someone says, hey, we've got this local tournament, you should join, I always recommend that you ask more questions. Because it sounds like they said, hey, we've got a local tournament, implying that it's local teams. But what it was a tournament hosted locally. Big difference. Big difference, especially when you pull into the parking lot and you see 18 passenger vans of teams coming out of their vans. You strike up conversation. You say, hey, where'd you guys come from that you traveled in an 18 passenger van? And they name some suburb of Pittsburgh you've never heard of before. And you go, oh, really? You drove all the way here for this tournament from Pittsburgh? And then they explain to you, the hometown kid, yeah, this is the regional tournament. Oh, sweet. Yeah, so that was interesting. We were the only team in the whole tournament that didn't have proper uniforms. We were just wearing t-shirts. Yeah, Luke. It was I say that, and it sounds. Well, it was bad. It was bad. It was embarrassing. That's probably the most embarrassed I've ever been playing anything at any time, and I'm pretty bad at some other sports. But then I'm bad to a point that I know I'm bad. At least I know I'm bad. But when you get outscored in 3 games, 37-6, pretty safe to say you're out of your league. And I mean, this was 10 years ago now. It's a long time ago now. Miguel was very young. I think Miguel and I are about the same age. So I know he and I both have a daughter about the same age from chatting with him over the years. Oh no, Miguel's nowhere near my age. He's 29. If you see this, Miguel, I apologize. Tried to add 5 or 6 years onto your age there. That wasn't fair. But yeah, and then seeing Cole again as well. Cole's such a good guy. I was surprised. I don't know how you feel about this, Luke, but I was a little surprised he didn't have more impact offensively. I thought for sure we'd see him on the score sheet straight away. I also want to say a ton of credit to those Imperial guys. A lot of reserve players coming in and trying to make a difference and stepping up to that level that Imperial has set as far as an expectation. I thought they did pretty well. Even though they lost, I thought they did really well. Definitely some things to take home, but that's okay. Yeah, we did barely call his name. You're right, which is unusual. And part of me was wondering while the game was going on, Luke, it's like, when he plays for Futsal Factory, he's definitely top 2 or 3 players for them, I would say, if not the top court player, not counting Robert. But I thought, well, is that why we hear his name more, think about him more then? Is he's leading that team in statistics, so of course he is. Whereas this Midwest side is a little more balanced as far as their talent level is concerned compared to, say, Futsal Factory. But then I really started thinking about it more, and I was like, well, it wasn't that way at Olay. He was in a very balanced team when he was at Olay, and we called his name all the time there too. But I also don't think he played as many minutes as I expected either. So I think that might have been part of it as well. I'd have to go back and watch the VOD, but I don't think he played a ton. So I wonder if it's a health or a conditioning thing that kept him from being in the spotlight a little bit more than I'm used to. But like I said, I have a ton of respect for both those guys. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with them off the court, both those guys. Miguel's a great guy, very friendly, very nice guy, down to earth. I don't know him well enough to speak much further than that, but when I've seen him at things, post game with his daughter, I recognize the look in his eye that he's a very loving father, and that kid is probably much like me when my daughter's got him wrapped around her finger. if I had to guess. I could just see a similar look in the eye that I see sometimes myself. And then with Cole, same thing. I've gotten to spend time with Cole off the court as well. When I crashed their celebration party when they won the championship in 2022. And Cole was also very nice and very welcoming to me. The whole away team was very welcoming, which is a big part of what their culture is, right? Is they're a family. And, you know, this, I mean, let's just be blunt. You know, some random white guy from from Ohio shows up and watches a championship and gets invited to the after party when they win with this this team that's very steeped in Hispanic culture and very strong. And I didn't feel out of place at all. It felt like I'd been friends with those guys for years while I was at that party, and that was really, really cool. I thought I didn't see him on the court much. Yeah, I think he was really rotational today. And I think he puts in a lot more minutes for the other teams he's played for up to this point. All right, second half about to start. Viewership for the NFPL on this game is great. Really good. I think I saw it peak over 100 at one point. So right before halftime, we saw 3-2 in Flagship's favor. They got their third. I'm trying to remember the last time these two teams played each other. I think Colorado handled business pretty well. Saw 91 time. Yeah, I think I even saw it go up to 108 at one point, Luke, as far as from like the watching now in the description, which I know isn't always perfect. I mean, I'm looking at my YouTube studio now, and it says I have 6 concurrent viewers in one place and says I have 3 in another, so you never know with YouTube. Let me look and see if I can find last season's results. Last time these teams saw each other was all the way back on February 3rd. So nearly a year ago. That can't be right. Hang on. That cannot be right. Hang on. Oh, I've got it backwards. That's why. Yeah, I was going to say, that's nuts. April 6th, it was a tie. Four to 4 tie on April 6th. Colorado didn't need the result because they were already going to the semifinal. I don't remember much about that game. I don't know if I watched it or not. This NFPL stream highlights the importance of having a commentator. People have no idea who these guys are, neither do I. So nice to have names and insight. You know, Luke, at the very beginning of my stream, I made a comment that, you know, this cameraman seems to only do commentary when he's on his own page, when he's only streaming on his own page. And whenever he's on the NFPL's page, he's pretty quiet. He's kind of got to be in the mood. And we've even watched him at times where he, like, comes in and out of commentary randomly. And I know this is a Spanish-speaking commentator, which wouldn't do me any good, but it would be nice to at least kind of have that cadence of the commentator behind it. Now, I am not a fan of this Colorado goalkeeper. A little too much on the antics for me. He's very talented. But yeah, Luke, if there's one thing I've learned, and you know how I feel about commentary, and I've been doing a lot of it lately, I'm not super comfortable doing it, but it does make a difference, and being able to tell the story is so important. I recognize these players from seeing them play for a couple of years, but I still don't know their names after all these years. Makes it hard, just like you said. Uh-oh. Is that me? Buffering issues? Anybody else having stream issues with the NFPL stream? So the last match was a tie. Before that, Colorado won 9-3. They're March 30th. Because everybody played each other 3 times last year, right? No. I think it's the same as this year where every couple. Like only 1 or 2 teams played each other 3 times. Man. Yes, buffering. Okay. I'm just glad it's not me. That's all. Number 2, yeah, you're right. I recognize him from the final, and I remember him having a big impact on the Gloom game before that as well. Let's see. When we were looking the other day, we were able to find some information on the league website about the players, I think. I don't know how accurate it is, because that is very tough to keep up with. I've learned that myself. Let's see if it's up to date. Looks like it is. This looks pretty solid. Jose Chirinos, number 2. Holy moly. I think we lost visual. Lost visual. There we go. You know, I'm noticing that... Oh, wait. Well, I don't know if that's right, because some of these numbers don't match up with what I'm seeing on the court. Like, the goalkeeper number doesn't match. Like I said, it's hard. Like, I have some teams in FCS. I can't even load their numbers because they change all the time. And that can make such a difference in the professionalism of how the league looks. Oh, New Mexico must have scored in there somewhere. 4-2. Viewership never really recovered from halftime, I noticed as well. It dipped down in the mid-50s and hasn't come back. But we'll see if we can keep an eye on this. See if it improves. Whoop. The most important thing I think is supporting futsal and keeping an eye on things for. Hey, I know who you are, Pod Creatives. French fry eating man. No, it's I don't know if I can do this without spilling them. It's chips. And to see if I get sponsored, I am not going to name any brands just in case. I don't want that hindering my chance at a sponsorship someday. Ooh, wow. New Mexico in full control at the moment. That was a laser beam. Glad the stream caught that. That was good. A location that's always kind of had trouble with their streaming, but when it's clean, there's always good quality futsal going on in the Southwest. The play is really good. I've noticed that sometimes there's more antics out that way. Antics sounds negative. Some of the showmanship of some faked injuries and some of that stuff that you kind of see, but I think a lot of it is cultural. A lot of the players that are pulling from that are Latin American, and that's big there. So yes, I'm sorry. I'm not. Uh-oh. Did it go in? No. Here, I'll put the link in the chat for you, Jared. There we go. I don't stream the games in my live stream for two reasons. Number one is if this was like when I watched CONCACAF in the World Cup, who's some other random guy in the chat. I don't know. When I watch the World Cup or when I watch CONCACAF, Luke and I tried to show the stream in a very small window on our channel for watch parties, and we actually got it wasn't a strike. What did YouTube call it? It was they actually like suspended the stream. I was still live, but it was black and no audio, and all I had in my YouTube studio was a message that said, "We detect you're using someone else's content, and you need to remove it to continue your stream." Literally the second we removed it from our OBS, then we went live in like 15 seconds. So that's one reason I don't do it. And then the second reason I haven't been doing it, even though if I did this NFPL stream, I'm sure no one would notice because it just doesn't have the viewership or the name brand or any of those things like a CONCACAF would. But I just kind of try and do it out of respect for who's actually streaming so that their fans still get funneled to their site. So this is kind of more like a watch companion, kind of like what Twitch does with the NFL, where they'll have a streamer watch the game, except that we can't physically watch it on our channel. And then I've also seen that done too with a lot of guys over in England. It's kind of a popular concept over in England with Premier League teams where guys will Ransom Bance, who's someone who's a friend of the channel, he does that for mainly Manchester United games because he's a Man United fan, but he'll also watch a lot of other games, all the big games in Premier League. He'll do watch alongs. He keeps the score bug up with the game and the time, the score and the time, and kind of keeps it moving from there. So I love it. But yeah, real exciting, big step forward for FCS, I think, tonight with another goal for New Mexico. They are taking it to Colorado. I did not expect this. Another great goal too, quality goal. Low to the inside post. Whoops, I hit the wrong. There we go. Okay. Yeah, huge stuff. Really exciting stuff. I need to clean up my portion to make FCS better. I still got a lot of work to do. Oh my gosh. Very, very late whistle there. That's interesting. I rarely feel like referees are in control of the Southwest matches. Kind of feels like the Wild West sometimes. And this arena, the way it's set up, reminds me a lot of Detroit Imperial, where everybody's right there, everybody's loud. It echoes real big in there, so the crowd feels much bigger than it is as well. That echo. Ooh, bad giveaway. So yeah, I think sometimes the fans have an impact on the referees. They hear that shout and react to it instead of what they're seeing on the court. But these are, I think, two of the better officials in the Southwest that I've seen, if I remember right. Got a little cagey and GR tonight as well. Yeah, a little bit towards the end there. Imperial really trying to claw their way back into that game a little bit. One guy looked like he was going to throw hands. Yeah, that one guy, one of the Alis, right? I can't remember which one. Jumped up with his hands up like he was going to fight. Jorge was like just asking him what the hell. He immediately thought he was throwing hands. That's one of the things Pierce talked to me quite a bit about. I talked to Pierce a lot in the off season, and we talked about the culture of his club. I was fortunate enough to get to do an interview with him for the FCS page, and I think he talks about it a little bit in that interview. I encouraged him to bring it up. Their culture at Imperial, it's interesting. Like they play as intense in their games. That intensity you see in their games, that's exactly how they practice. They play super high intensity. They, according to him and Davide, those guys get in fights with each other at practice all the time out of intensity of the game, and then the scrimmage ends at the end of the practice, and they all shake hands and hug and go grab a drink and hang out, and they're best buds. So it's hyper competitive at Imperial. And so it makes me wonder, for a guy to jump up and immediately be ready for a fight, is that them pushing each other that hard at practice that we saw his instant reaction in the game, or is that just something else? Because a lot of these guys as well, one of the things I really admired from talking to Pierce is a lot of these guys come from tough neighborhoods, or they come from, they're immigrants from, very third world countries, or maybe not the greatest situations and not a lot of opportunity, and so everything feels like a fight in their life to them, and that's kind of what builds that culture there at Imperial. So we saw a lot of that shine through in just that one single moment. You snapshot that 10 seconds, tells you a lot about where a lot of these guys and their background and how they feel and how they go about life. Probably a little too deep of a comment for a futsal stream, but it's too late now. All right, more chips, Jared. Hang on. Good save from the keeper there. This is a great revenge match for New Mexico if they can hold this score line. It's a French fry. No. It's the little broken pieces of the chips. I promise. Although, I am always down for some Wendy's. Wendy's, if you hear this, I'm ready for a sponsorship. Just give me a call. My first ever job as a teenager was Wendy's. Is that fifth foul he's showing there? Wendy's Twitter account is amazing. I don't know if they're still doing all the roasts like they were a few years ago, but I remember them getting really popular in pop culture there for a minute because they were just roasting everybody on Twitter. It was still Twitter. It was a while ago. Man, this game started out like massively insane to a point that I was like, I should go live and watch this. To like still being a very good game, but not nearly as dramatic as how. Whoa. Whoa. What was he thinking? That was hilarious. Yeah, it was. It was great. They're getting everybody. Did you guys see that back heel from the... Who was he doing that to? Come on, punt it. Yeah. Oh. Jared, if you're watching the game, or I'm sorry, the pod creatives, if you're watching the game, what do you think about this facility? I'm just curious. Luke and I have talked about it several times. I kind of curious your take. I'm going to try really hard not to say anything before you type out whatever you're going to type out about it. I don't want to influence your comment. Oh, okay. Well, here. What if I do this? Maybe I can figure out a creative way to show this facility. Yeah, I do not like the way they do their camera work in Albuquerque. Really don't like it. Elite Indoor Soccer, I think is what it's called. All right, here we go. Show me what I want. Okay, this is not the greatest photo in the world. It's not a photo. What the heck? Good timing for this. I think they're in a timeout. There's gotta be a better picture in this. All right, this has gone on long enough. Okay, I'll just show you the crappy picture. Okay. So this is just one wall behind the goal. Doesn't really give you the full view, but like the whole... Does this not remind you of Detroit a little bit with like how tight the walls are to the touch line? Here is so tight. But there's this kind of like paintings and graphics all over the wall the whole way around. Except for this touch line here is a fence, and then there's fans. It's like really tall stands seating. Let's see if we can find a little better photo. Yeesh, why is that so grainy? That's the same photo. Okay. Well, you can see all their locations are like this. Like their indoor courts, their smaller courts, their bigger courts. They all have all kinds of local stuff on them. Falcao photos, Dragon Ball Z. Oh, Colorado scored. I missed it because I was goofing around. Worst streamer ever. Oh, I looked and I'm back. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that was way better what I was doing. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting spot. It's creative, but I don't know how... I wonder how big it really is, like court size wise. Is this 6 fouls already for Colorado again? Not a good start to the season for them so far. It looks like they're really just out of control. Oh, I never turned off the oh my gosh, I'm out of practice. And boom. All right. Shouldn't have done that. Bad Jake. Yeah, looks small. Yeah, if it happens because of this stream, I'm gonna be so pissed. If it was because of like me stealing CONCACAF content or something, like, all right, fine. But those CONCACAF watch parties was some of the best watch content we had last year, which was really cool. Get up and keep playing. Play the whistle. Colorado thinks they have a 6th foul. I haven't paid close enough attention to their foul count. Used up all my foul count energy in the commentary booth. Which actually, I thought it was interesting. There weren't a ton of fouls in that match. I'm trying to think back to other Midwest matches. I don't think that we see a ton of fouls from them in general. Physical but fair match, I would say. One big moment that kind of sticks out in everybody's head, but I was a big fan of how that game went. I thought 5 fouls all game, maybe. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it was much. Lowest this season? I hesitate to count this one. But the Midwest versus Midwest match, I think there was only 2. But it was because of the nature of the match. Great goal. Wow. Caught the Colorado keeper on his heels. What was the, I don't know if he thought, you know what I think it was? So the player kind of had to pull the ball from behind him forward. I don't think he was expecting the shot that quickly. And he kind of relaxed. I was wondering after the last game, because New Mexico just completely fell apart in the second half. But this has been a good full match so far for the Albuquerque team. Why wouldn't you count that one? It just doesn't quite count the same. Doesn't quite count the same, does it? Oh, there's a quick callback from Colorado. All right, nice. Colorado's goalkeeper jumped forward, forced the turnover, and next thing you know, that's at number 2 we were talking about, Luke, that we don't completely know his name. I know that I think that Midwest had 1, possibly 2 friendlies in their downtime in FCS play. So I know that I'm pretty sure that their coach posted it on his YouTube channel, but it looked like it was just a camera view from the floor. And so I haven't watched it. It's hard for me to watch those kinds of things, even as an avid futsal fan. But I know that they're trying to get more minutes for this team and fix some of their problems. So hopefully the second half of the season is at least more competitive. I'm not expecting much for the second half of the season for them because they have a pretty tough schedule as well. Again, not in the sense of the teams they play. I mean, not only in the sense in the teams that they play, but just a lot of congestion in their schedule in the way they scheduled it this year. You've got we won't see them again until the 22nd of February. So they will not have played for 3 months, and then have to get back to that intensity out of the training ground. And they start on the road to Lansing, then to Olay the next week. Then 2 days later, host Jinga. And then the following week, they play 2 days and 1 weekend again. So they're going to have 5 matches in 2 weeks. Another great goal for Flagship. Flagship looking strong. So yeah, I don't know. Don't have a ton of faith in that situation improving. That's a young team. That's a lot to ask of any team. That many games in that short period of a time. So I'm curious. I think that I think for me, and Luke and I talked about this when we watched the last Southwest Division game last week with Gloom in Flagship. Jenga's been the big surprise for me this season. I am very pleasantly surprised at how well they've played. They're another team with a very interesting schedule since they front-loaded their season with all their home games. Made everybody travel to them, but they've really made the most of that and jumped ahead in the standings. And to have a home record of 4-1, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, I'd say. Yeah, Luke. Yeah. Dark horse. I like it. You know, that's the thing when we talk about those standings. I can't remember what game it was that I was commentating with Jared and we brought this up, but we talked about how it's early in the season. There's time to make up for mistakes, but at what point do we look back and say that game, those points were critical points to whether they would have made a semifinal or not? And when I think about where we're at in the standings and these teams and the quality of these teams and where Jenga's at from a performance versus a skill level, position. They really made the most of those home matches to collect points. I mean, they got 12 points at home. That's really good. And now when they hit the road, if there are mistakes, they've got, number one, a little bit of breathing room in that semifinal picture. But also, they've gotten to see all these teams now from the comfort of their home and know how to go there and now try and play them. So all they really have to handle now is the fatigue of the trip. They don't have to handle also trying to play an opponent they haven't played yet. So interesting. And I think we also said too, Luke, that it is a very different Jenga than the Jenga we watched in NFPL, which excites me in a good way. Wow. That might be the most unceremonious goal in the history of futsal. Eight to 5. It's still only a 3-point game. I can't tell what we're at on time. It's too blurry. But I think we're fairly deep into this one, so I would imagine we're getting close to the end here. So Colorado's really got to figure out a way to get a couple more points if they want to attempt to steal some results out of here, out of New Mexico. It feels like the first game versus Imperial was a fluke. But they are not the same as NFPL Jenga. Yeah, you know, what was interesting, Luke, is when they were in NFPL, it was a very different roster, especially their starting 5. And those players were a lot more finesse in their style of play. And I feel like this Jenga is much more physical. And that Imperial trip being their very first game of the season, I don't know if it was season jitters or, being in an unusual place to start your season as opposed to being at home in a new league, a lot of new faces. But, man, they're rocking and rolling now, aren't they? No, yeah, good call, ref. Ooh, that's a nice little bit of play, but can he save it? Maybe on a full-size court. Good save. This is a different keeper for Flagship, isn't it, than the first half? Dima? A Jingaziki? Oh, man, that's giving him a lot of credit. I don't know. Another great goal from Colorado. They're clawing back. 2-goal difference. I think we might be in the final minute, though. I can't tell. The timer looked like it was moving fast, like it was on seconds instead of minutes and seconds. I'm having a hard time telling. No, Dima's been great. You know, he's a testament to. I really like that guy. Yeah, me too, Luke. I like him. I'm a big fan of Dima Sherbina so far. It's interesting because he's a rotational player for them. He's usually coming off the bench, or he's a second string, I guess you could say, second line. But the stories I hear about him from Satoru, the way that he is constantly learning and constantly improving his drive, seeing his drive on the court, all these things together make him very easy to like. And the fact that he only started playing futsal a couple months before the FCS season and has advanced so quickly so far, you kind of have to be careful. Not be careful, but it's interesting how, like, when you first, it's like when you very first start at something, the rate of improvement typically is exponential to start and then levels off once you kind of start to plateau at what your cap's going to be. And I feel like we're still seeing Dima in that exponential part of I am just now learning this and I'm starting to get the hang of it. So every incremental thing he changes and does like makes a big difference in his game. And it's going to be interesting to see once he hits right before that exponential peak, what's the next step for Dima that keeps him going up at that trajectory as opposed to plateauing. And I think personally, and it's early onset, we don't know a ton about the guy just yet, but I know I like what I see and I like his work ethic. And if he keeps that work ethic and if he keeps that mentality of being a sponge and trying to great shot. If he's going to continue to be a sponge and continue to be a student of the game, which I think under Satoru he would be, because that's the kind of culture that he is building there, that he has a high ceiling. More chips. I'm making this bowl last. It's a bunch of small pieces. That's why everybody thinks they're fries, but they're chips. Yeah, and Tamasawa as well. You know what I really like too about Tamasawa being there, Luke, is that you know, this is a guy 44 years old. Although he doesn't look it, he looks great for his age. 44 years old, comes here as kind of a last chance to play. He's with his old bud. His old buddy Satoru. They could be on the court together, playing together, and kind of having a last hurrah. But both those guys have been very selfless. They put the other players in the spotlight, and I love that. Tommy comes all the way here from Japan. That must be the game because we set the camera down. So final score is 8-6. This guy in Albuquerque, man. He's something else. He is something else, dude. Cracks me up. But yeah, I love the culture there. I love that. I feel like Tommy is a great fit for what they're doing. I think he brings a lot of experience to that goalkeeper lineup as well. And I know that he's a big part of their coaching on the goalkeeper side right now. And to have an F League coach within your ranks with a quality team like Machida is really cool. And I think that that's really exciting for Jenga and their longevity. I hope that they're able to build off of that, learn from Tommy while he's here. Now, one of the interesting things will be, I think Tommy is only here through the regular season. So if Jenga does make the playoffs, which I think is very possible, does that affect the team? Statistically, I don't think that Tommy is doing anything that is like drastically more than what the other guys are doing. But he's also had some wild shots put on him as well. Like, it's not like I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, but I think that what'll be important about Tommy's time here now is what he teaches the other guys. What does he teach Gabe Clark? So that when they go to the playoffs after he goes back to Japan, makes them different than who they are today to make that deep run. What does he teach Corey Weisenhunt now that, is going to impact them in that kind of late season run? And I think that's what's going to be really, really critical. We need some Japanese kits in the futsal news rotation. That I would not disagree with. I would love to rock some Japanese kits. I think is Machida in the playoffs right now or not quite yet? Because that's the other thing is Tommy had to leave and, leave his team that he coaches right before the playoffs. This is the here, check this out. This is the here we go. What if I do this? This is the club that Satoru played for when he was playing, where he met Tommy. Black Shorts FC. It's a cool logo. And check this out. Recognize any of those teams? So freaking cool. A member of Cincinnati. Well, I think this is a translation issue, not. So cool. That's what the futsal community is all about right there. I did not know that was there. That's really neat. I just started following Black Shorts very, very recently. There's Tommy right there. So there was a break in the schedule for Jenga right around Thanksgiving, where they took, I think there was 2 weeks off. And they, I believe, trained with Black Shorts while they were there. Because the reason they took those 2 weeks off, was because Satoru went there for a wedding for his brother. And while he was there, he trained with Tommy with their old club, which I think is really neat. Oh, Luke, check these out. That's what we need for the channel right there. Those are some pretty cool kits. I like the quarter zips too. That's cool. I'd rock that. I would definitely be down for that. Yeah, really good stuff. I love the culture in Japan anyway. I love the way they handle business. And I love the way that they are, the respect, the learn, and constantly learning, constantly improving, all that stuff I think is so cool. My headphone batteries just died. All that stuff I think is super important. So, oh, and it's back. I must be on the last leg. I got to remember to replace those before the next FCS stream. Did you see the meta kits? Yeah, I did. Yeah, those were really cool. I meant to comment on that, but I was running around and doing some family stuff, and I missed it. But I flipped through the VOD real quick after and was really impressed with it. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, it was. It's cool stuff. I love the kits. I love creative kits. I don't. A lot of times I don't like the multicolored kits, but some of them are cool. Like I like one or two colored kits, probably the best. But man, there's some really cool jerseys in the futsal scene. I'm coming full circle. When I was first dating my wife, I had a ton of soccer kits that I wore all the time. Like I was always in a soccer kit if I wasn't at work, and just a big fan of everybody and everything and supporting. And then I slowly phased them out and got rid of them. Became a bit of a grown up. And so I'm sure she was very relieved because it was taking up a ton of space. Like I had an absurd amount of kits. And then when I got really into futsal again, I shouldn't say again, in place of soccer, I'd kind of fallen out of soccer, found futsal, reinvigorated everything for me. And then when I started doing the channel, I kind of started inadvertently collecting kits again as I started to meet people and opportunity to support clubs by buying their merch, stuff like that. So I've moved all that stuff down into the basement down here with me. So I've got a little futsal space inside of the storage area of the closet there that I've got everything hung up. And I think I'm up to about 12 different pieces, including zip ups. 12 to 15, somewhere in that range. And they're kits that I've collected from teams from anywhere from US to Argentina to England. I've even got a third tier England kit in there that was sent to me by the club, which I'm very appreciative for. Staffordshire. So, or excuse me, just Stafford Futsal. Now I feel like an idiot. Yeah, Stafford Futsal Club. They were originally established in 2018, took a couple years off through COVID, came back. When they came back, I was talking to the guy. Actually, that's the guy that helped me create the Predictions League. He's the one I stole the Predictions League from. So, yeah, it was all really cool. All really neat stuff. Yeah, but anyway, about what the stream was originally about was that Flagship Colorado game. Very interesting match. The Southwest Division matches are always really good, really entertaining. They're always super wild. We saw a lot of wild in the beginning of that match. Things were really popping off. A little bit of drama, as there always tends to be in these situations. But Flagship bouncing back from their loss to Gloom. And Colorado, who were defending Southwest Division champs, fall victim to it. So Southwest Division, I've always called it the Wild West, kind of tongue-in-cheek, because these teams always seem to trade results, meaning splitting series, or there's no clear favorites in most of these games. I think last season, Flagship ended up in last place, but even then, they were in every game, in most games. And I think, like, I remember them losing pretty badly to Colorado at one point. But even in that game, even though the scoreline looked bad, it was a very entertaining match. So the Southwest quality, I'd say, compared to, say, NFPL Midwest over the last few years since they've joined, has always, I think, been better as a whole. But it seems like, the best teams, there's like one or two best teams out in the Midwest, and then like some drop off. And that's never really been, I mean, that's always kind of been the case anyway, with the exception of maybe the year that first year Joy Athletic was in it, and there was a lot of really good teams all kind of together that made this middle of the pack. That would have been the first year Jenga joined NFPL. And then now, last year you had Olay. The year before that you had Olay in one division and Treezub in the other. And both of them, I think, went fairly undefeated or close to it until the very end and faced each other. And that was the only really entertaining match of the season that year, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how this season goes. I think Voyagers were the only weak team. Yeah, that very first year with the San Diego Voyagers, that was, I think they ended up kind of being whipping boys for the year. So that was before Gloom. And then Gloom came in after they didn't come back. It's like a quick flip. There was never a miss in the seasons where there was a shortage of teams, which was good. Yeah, no worries, Luke. Yeah, catch you later. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. I won't be on for much longer either. It's almost midnight here. But, yeah, I thought that was a really entertaining match. I'd love to see just little things in production that could make life a little easier, like if we could get a better camera angle in that facility, which I know is very difficult because of the nature of the facility. We've seen similar struggles with one of our teams as well in that sense. And then I think the other thing too would just be some more information on the players so I can follow the players a little close, because I think there's some really good players out there that are really entertaining, that I'd love to know more about. But that's not easy to do, and I know that firsthand, especially now. I've always kind of known, like, look, it's easy to be critical from the couch. So I've always said that and taken it with a pinch of salt. But I think if they continue to try to improve production, then it'll help make things a little more personal for followers. But I thought the viewership was really strong for that game as well. I think that at one point they had 100 or close to 100 viewers at once. Southwest has a great futsal community that shows up all the time. So that's really exciting to see that they're still doing that even in tough production situations. They always seem to show up. So that's a huge testament to them as well. So good for them. Really good for them. I'm always happy to see that. So I think with that, we're going to call it. And I'm going to wrap up the stream. I know it was a really short one tonight. But with me being on commentator duty for FCS and coming to this game a little bit late, again, wasn't really planning on doing a stream, but it just turned out to be a great opportunity with a really good game. So we'll keep an eye on things. I can't promise that I'll always be watching NFPL streams. We've just had a couple of quick opportunities to do so and support futsal in the US, so I want to make sure we do it. So I encourage you guys to continue to follow these teams and these leagues in the US, help us grow the sport so we can continue to make it bigger and better. That's first and foremost, most important. So really excited to see what else this winter brings for futsal in the United States. It feels like it's a really pivotal year for everyone in the US to make a difference. So keep doing what you guys are doing. If you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe and follow the channel. I want to do more watch alongs. We'll also be doing more interviews. The next time we're live will be Thursday. Is that the 9th? The 9th, yes. With Jared Kleppal from the Futsal Champion Series. We're going to chat a little bit and do like kind of a mid-season touch base here on our channel. And then we're also going to kind of talk about how we set up our production. And hopefully it's inspiring to some other leagues that they can kind of do some of the same stuff and know that it's possible with even with limited resources. Sometimes it's possible. I think we've done it on a very affordable budget. So we kind of want to share our story. We're only halfway through our season. There's still a lot of time to go. We haven't accomplished anything yet. I want to see us get through the season. I want to see us, be able to have something to brag about at the end of the season about what we did. So far, though, I'm really proud of what we've done, and I want to share the story with you guys. So we're going to do that on Thursday. That's Thursday the 9th, next week. Stream will start around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then I've also got our first video of the year coming out soon as well. So keep an eye out for that as well. We'll do another one of our traditional videos and talk about actually the setup for the Champions League in UEFA and what's coming in May. So going overseas a little bit to talk about things there after a couple of videos to end the year, focusing on the US side of things. We're going to focus on some other big events and keep things going. There's a lot to talk about. The Women's World Cup is on the horizon. There's a lot of turbulence in that scene for the women's side, and I want to cover some of that as well. And we're also going to kind of cover what's going on with CONCACAF. What are they thinking and what are they doing, and why haven't we heard any news out of them official yet on the women's qualifiers? I've been fortunate to find out when they are. I don't know how soon we'll hear the official announcement, but I believe in April, late April is when we'll see the qualifiers for the 26 World Cup for the women. So, or 25, excuse me. So yeah, it's crazy times. There should be a lot more going on for the women's game, and we're not seeing it. So I'm excited to cover that and ask some questions and hear what you guys think about that. I'm excited to cover Champions League as well. It's always an entertaining match. Hopefully we can do some watch-alongs for that. I don't know exactly what the timing of those games will be. I know they're being hosted in France this year, which is well-deserved. France has invested literally 15 million euros into futsal and their infrastructure. And the fact that they're just now getting a host bid is actually kind of criminal from UEFA. So I'm glad they finally got their credit. And it's also coming at a very interesting time for them as well. So a lot of cool things to talk about if we really want to dive in. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. So I'm going to sign off for now. And then until I see you guys next time, don't forget to play with your soul.